Welcome to Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina. Oh, I'm in charge of this.
You're in charge of the video.
Okay. Oh my God. You are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM Palatine, Illinois broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. Because you are listening to Streaming Verse, the thoughts and ideas are The thoughts and ideas presented on this show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees.
Very nice. Very nice.
Good night. I went through...
Good hello.
Good... Hi. If you... you did not know, we are live on YouTube. If you go to the Harper Radio channel...
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. You'll see us there. You can also listen in on 88.3 FM locally and harperradio.com.
All over the globe.
Yeah, wherever you want.
In your car, on an airplane if you have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. On a train.
On a train. We could do green eggs and ham, and just instead of like where you're eating the green eggs and ham, it's where you can stream.
It was just Dr. Seuss's birthday, but he's a terrible man, so don't celebrate. Isn't he like a bad man?
Yeah, I think he had some issues, but he had some actually he did some good stuff though. Was it him? Was it?
Why
Dr. Seuss?
Why Dr. Seuss problematic?
I mean, he was all about the Lorax, though. I mean, that was like a really good story.
Yeah, trust me, I love the Lorax, okay? I just looked up why Dr. Seuss problematic, and it came up throat cancer. That's not what I'm looking for.
That's what his problem was.
Yeah.
He was dealing with.
Some of his books are banned. I do know that. Oh, racist imagery.
Yeah, but...
On the book, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Never even heard of that book.
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've ever read it. And I don't mean to defend, but at some point you have to go, what was happening back then? What were people doing?
No, I understand that.
Was that his intent? Should be the question. Was his intent to do that?
Oh my God! I have not read Dr. Seuss in quite some time. I just read a very disturbing thing that happens in If I Ran a Zoo.
Oh.
I like that book. Do you want me to read it?
As long as it's airworthy, yes, please.
Okay, it says, the zoo. A white boy holds a large gun while standing on the heads of 3 Asian men.
Okay, that is slightly problematic.
And it gets worse, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Come on, Seuss.
Yeah, do better.
Do better. Think about the kids. Freak.
I know, but we all grew up paying like cops and robbers and cowboys in India. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a very jaded history.
Welcome to America.
And it's about to go back to that. Yay! How do you make America great again? You bring back the problematic Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, you bring back everything that was set in place. So what is going on with me? I'm like glitching.
You kind of are glitching. That is a good way to put it.
No, I'm not going to say that on here. That's crazy. I'll let you know during the break.
Yes, Karina just commented.
It's not the name
of
it.
The Places You'll Go was her favorite.
It's not Oh Baby, it's... Oh my God, what is it? Sorry. What is that book called? Is it literally called The Places You'll
Yeah.
Go? Oh, The Places You'll
Oh,
Go.
You'll Places You Go. Yes.
Yeah. I liked No, it's not even a Dr. Seuss book, never mind.
Okay. So what have you been streaming?
Not Dr. Seuss. I don't know why we're talking about him.
Yeah, it's Random Thoughts Day, so everything is game.
Great, because I have a lot of random thoughts on the regular. Pull it together, Nina. Pull it together. Okay, I watched Ghost World, and I also read the comic beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. It is so clearly both the comic and the movie written by a man. Like, it's so obviously written by a man. Like, I just want to be like, teenage girls do not talk this way.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been around any human being ever in your life? Like, that's kind of how I felt. Like,
Okay.
Okay, don't know what you were going for. You didn't do a great job, Daniel something. Don't even know your last name. Sorry. But Scarlett Johansson was in the movie.
Oh, okay. So that's why. That's what brought us in.
Well, it was for a class, but
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson was in it, and it was one of her, like, not one of her first roles because she's been acting forever, but she was younger in it, and it was so funny to see her. I mean, because I've seen her in, like, the second Home Alone, and, like, when she was, like, super duper young.
Yeah.
But it's just so, like, it's just so fun to see her being just, like, a silly kid, even though that's really not what this movie was about. Couldn't even really tell you what it was about on air. It was just these, like, two awful, like, teenage girls who were, like, I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
Anyways.
Glowing recommendation there.
Yeah, unless you love Scarlett Johansson like I do, it's not worth your time.
Okay. Ghost World.
Yeah.
Reading or watching?
No, definitely not reading. Oh my god.
Okay.
What have you been streaming, Chris?
Well, I finally started Shogun. I figured, okay, it's won 80 million awards. Let's watch this.
I've never heard
It won everything in every awards. You've heard of it. You may not have, like, processed it. Shogun.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment.
I'm like, you've so heard of it. I get that you may not have come across it in the native world of, like, Hulu and the app.
I don't even have Hulu, so
Right, yeah. So I get that you haven't. So Aaron, of course, has been recommending this forever. And it is lots of subtitles, which is fine. It just means you have to sit and watch it.
Yeah.
And the scenery is so different, and they use there's a lot of, like, the scenery matters. So I have found myself watching it and then going, oops, I have no idea what they just said. And then I have to rewind it. The interesting part is it's Japanese. Yeah, it's Japan. Osaka, yeah. It's Japanese and Portuguese, but the Portuguese is all in English. So they keep saying, this person's here to learn her Portuguese, but they do that in English. And I swear it's for us to make our lives easier. Do you know what I mean? So instead of making it actually Portuguese, so we Americans are all like, okay, I really can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
At least part of it has English dialogue with the Japanese. But again, I keep going, oh, wow, that costume looks like Darth Vader. They probably made Darth Vader after these types of warriors from this time. Oh, oh, wait, I didn't hear anything they said. I have to rewind it. Like, that's how it goes. I'm not even through the second episode yet. No, I'm enjoying it, and I'm very excited that they have finally said what's going on. Because part of me is like, I need a diagram here. Because the premise is, and why it's called Shogun, is because, and it's based on a book, that the emperor has died, but his son is too young to rule. So all the regencies, so all the heads of all these regencies are now supposed to get along and help rule until the heir is old enough, like till he's 18.
Okay.
But they're already the chosen one who we'd want to pick is already being tried for something, and the other regions are going to want to kill him. So he's trying to devise a way so that the Christian regents split and don't all vote to have him killed, so that he stays alive. Yeah, so it's a very interesting story, but it took me a long time.
Very high stakes.
Okay, who's who? What's going on?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear anything. Because I'm looking around going, oh, I love the scenery in this. Oh, this is real. And it's a lot of looks, because it's a great director who's like, okay, we want you to X, Y, and Z. It's like, I can see you having to watch this like 3 times just to know what's going on.
I was going to say you should do like the ultimate film school experiment where you like watch it all the way through, no volume, no subtitles, and see if you can understand the story.
Oh, yeah.
And then go back and, like, listen to it and, put the dialogue on and see if the story is, like, see if you got it right.
Right. See how well I did.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be, like, show, not tell, so the dialogue's not supposed to be that. Like, when you're screenwriting, they're like, dialogue shouldn't be the least important part. Like, you should be so good that the dialogue shouldn't matter. So
gotcha.
It's just interesting because you're focusing so much on the dialogue when there's so many shows that are so dialogue heavy.
Right.
But okay, I'm going to say according to like a bunch of screenwriters who wrote textbooks on it.
Okay.
Kind of thing. They're like, the dialogue is the least important thing, which seems silly because
some of my favorite movies and TV shows are when the dialogue is great.
Exactly.
Like epic. Now, efficient though.
Yes.
In terms of like economy of words. Like, no. We don't want word vomit. We want concise, meaningful words, vocabulary. Yes.
Yeah. To clarify though, I do think they're talking about like getting the story out. Like telling the story should be
no bats. Sorry.
Okay, no, I at the beginning I did hear a chirp and I just like kind of freaked out.
That should be one of our hashtags for our show.
Hashtag
No
bat.
bats.
No
or bats.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry. That just completely hit me.
We should have like to our shirts like we need like we survived
right
the bat attack
of 2024.
2024, yeah. That was crazy.
I will say though, and this is not anything I've watched recently, but there's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where there's very little dialogue because there is a demon who takes all their voices away. So there's dialogue at the beginning and dialogue at the end, but for the main course of the episode, there is no talk. And it is one of the most fascinating episodes. And it's funny. You're laughing out loud. Like, he draws a picture of, like, at one point they figure, okay, it's a school, because she's in school and stuff. So they use one of those projectors so he can draw pictures to try to explain what they're going to do to get the demon. And he draws a picture of her. And she's like, I'm not fat. I'm not like, and you could just tell by the motion. She's just like, and there's also another thing with the steak, which is just funny too, but.
I love it. All
right, you got the book out.
Yeah. Do you want to read
time? Yeah. No. I didn't know what time it was.
7.
Look at you being on top of the time.
I know I can. Well, I'd say I can read the clock, but. Anyways. Caroline, do you mind if I share what I have brought on? Okay. I don't think she knows what I'm talking about exactly. So Caroline came with a library book and told me that I got her into the Sarah J. Maas series and it made my entire existence, I believe. So if you too see the segue, it's great.
Nice.
I noticed that saying, hey, see the segue, just ruined it, but those of you who want to join the awesome Sarah J. Maas Club, that doesn't exist, but in our minds it does. Come to the Harper College Library, located in Building F, floors 2 and 3. You'll have access to computers, printers, And books. Duh. The library also houses a collection of over 20,000 movies and albums. Plus, check out their vinyl for classic records and new favorites. The library is a great place to study, research, or just relax. For more information, visit harpercollege.edu/library.
Nice. All right. Thanks for picking a short one for me. I know you just turned one page.
I literally just flipped the page,
I
but
know.
okay.
We're going to pretend.
Of course I did it for you.
Are you a Harper student looking for a job? Well, look no further. Every week from 8:30 a.m. till 3:30 p.m., the Job Placement Resource Center in room I-117 has job placements professionals that will help you with resumes and your job searches. Stop in for all your employment needs, email or call to make an appointment, or come in during walk-in hours.
Nice.
And, since we never talk about other radio shows because we're deficient in that area,
Yeah.
I was listening to a show today that was actually pretty interesting.
Ooh.
So I had to take a picture of the schedule. From 2 to 3 on Thursdays, there's a show called Tales on the Air with Joshua C. And they read short stories, or like 1 page or 2 page stories. So very short stories. And I was working, so I really couldn't listen. And I'm not used to the cadence of his voice because it takes me a minute to get used to people's cadences. But it was really good and it was relaxing.
That's a really fun concept for a show.
Yes. So tune in Thursdays at 2 o'clock for Tales on the Air.
If you're listening, do you take submissions for short stories?
Really?
Because that would be cool. I got a couple of short stories if you want to read them.
Yeah.
If you're running low on things. Cool. Okay, so the show is titled Random. Do you want to talk a little bit about why it's random?
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking.
You're so welcome.
So we have been planning for a while to have a guest on the show until they realized that there was a gaping hole in their memory and their schedule.
Mostly their memory.
So in addition to work falling off the rails this week and then me feeling like a proper adult because I was sending the emails. I mean, you're copied on all the emails.
But I'm not doing anything.
Good, but I was following up. I was adulting like a champ.
You were killing it. It was great.
And then I very nicely crafted this full email to just get, oh, yeah, oops, can't make it.
Yeah, end of story.
So at that point, I'm like, curse the universe because everything's falling down around us right now. I'm trying to find underground resistance right now in my life. So I was like, we didn't even entertain another topic. No. We just went right to random. It's like
this has been going, we went because at this point there was no time to really come up with anything
or do any research for it because typically even if we come up with it last minute, we normally have a couple ideas we've been thinking about and it's last minute on a Tuesday,
right?
But last minute on a Wednesday's hard.
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hence why we're being random today.
Yes, very random.
And also the importance of reading.
And the importance of not judging other people when you fail, which I am because I fail in this sometimes too. But I hope that the people who do this do not judge other people for things they have just recently failed at.
Don't be a hypocrite. Just don't be a hypocrite.
Right.
Basically is.
That's the tale. That's the moral.
Story, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of random, I think Aaron may have watched this before, may have read this before. It is a manga movie.
Probably.
It's called Akira. It's very popular. I've heard the name a million times. I've just never had anything to associate it with. I read the comic and the movie. If you couldn't pick up on this. I am in some kind of comic graphic novel adaptation course. So I read the comic first, and I was like, okay. And then we watched the movie, and it's one of those that it's animated, but it's so over the top violent.
Mm-hmm.
So watching it like in a theater with a bunch of delicate, as one of my professors called art students today.
Our random thoughts are kind of targeted.
Yeah. You know, I could go off about that professor, but I will restrain myself.
Did you derail?
What was I saying? What did I say?
You're watching the theater.
Violent.
A bunch of sensitive people.
Oh yeah,
watching
delicate.
Delicate.
Thank you. Sorry, got off the rails there. So the movie ends. I have no idea what happened. There was so many storylines intertwining. There was so much happening. I was like, why are they calling this guy Akira? His name is not Akira. But apparently he was like possessed or something by Akira. And I'm like, wait, Akira isn't like who, what? I don't get it, okay? I was just very lost. And everyone was like, like a couple people had seen it before, and they were like, oh yeah, if it's your first time watching, like you'll have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, oh great. Great. So
that sounds like something Aaron would say too.
Yeah, right.
Exactly
right?
what you. Oh yeah, it's your first time. You're not going to get it.
Yeah, you're not going to get it. So of course I'm like, great, because I know that I have to write an essay on this, and I'm like, this like right over my head. And then someone in the class clearly had never seen like it's a manga, but like a cartoon is, you know, that's what we call it. At least that's how we know it. They'd never seen something like that, like animated with so much gore and violence. And so, like, I've seen like you know, Harley Quinn and South Park, like it amplifies the violence because it's animated, because we're not used to it as a culture. But this person was so upset by this. They start yelling at the professor, and they're like, why would you show us something like this? Like, blah, 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 like freaking out. And the professor is like, who you would think of like, when you think of like a comic book nerd. Like, he does not say anything. He just kind of stands there for like the 4.5 hours of this class. And he's like, like, I feel bad for the guy sometimes, because he's just clearly, he's not an extrovert, and that's fine. So he just kind of stood there and took it while this kid is like, I'm traumatized. Da, 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 da. And still, I had no idea what was going on.
You're like, I'm traumatized because I have a blank space now of trying to understand what this is.
I know. So like, I'm like, I can write an essay about how it's shocking to everyone, clearly.
Right.
But any of the plot, like, I have no idea what happened, and I'm supposed to compare it with the comic, and I'm like, I have no idea. I was so lost.
Can you incorporate the conversations you had with the people in the theater as part of the experience of watching it?
I did. I don't know but he doesn't give rubrics for anything. He just goes, I go, oh, is there like a list for this assignment or like a rubric or something? He goes, I'm a very easy grader. And I go, oh, okay, so you're just going to give me an A if I complete this. Okay, right. That's fine.
Yeah. I had a teacher for intro to film here at Harper, and we had a 10-page, and I know I've talked about it before on the show, 10-page paper that was due.
Yeah.
And we're all like, 10 pages.
Yeah.
So when, I don't know if I told you this part of it, so we all had to also, because this was the steps you have to take in class, so we also had to get up and do a presentation on what we were going to do our paper about.
Yeah.
So he had to leave the classroom for a minute. So I'm standing at the podium, and I'm already a DJ at this point. So I'm all like, let's go. Let's talk.
Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? And I'm standing there, And I'm like, okay, guys. So he said it has to be 10 pages. I go, so what if you did it on The Shining and just wrote red rum, red rum, red rum, rum, rum for 10 pages?
Yeah.
And I got a lot. And the one guy goes, that's what my paper's on. I go, and there's your idea. You're good.
There you go.
So then the teacher comes back in, and I'm doing my presentation because I was, first, because again, I don't care. Like,
Right.
let's go. And we're talking, and then basically our teacher goes, well, I really just want this to be 10 pages. It's more, he goes, don't write for you, write for me. And he keeps talking, and then he basically says something like, I really don't care what you write. And I look at that one student and I go, there you go. You're welcome. And the teacher's like, what? And I'm like, no, never mind.
It's an inside joke.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, it's between you guys. And he was fine with it. The teacher was completely fine with it. But I was just like, I don't know what the kid did, but it'd be awesome if he just wrote red rum, red rum, red rum.
That is so awesome.
Because that's when I made stuff up on my paper. Because I was like 8.5 pages, and I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. I get that. I'm writing so much right now. 10 pages seems like nothing to me, which is insane.
Right.
But I do tend to ramble on about everything.
So good.
No, like, for that purpose.
Right.
To
yes.
make it, like...
Right. And it's so funny, too, because half the time this is just my opinion of school sometimes. And I get why they're trying to make you write more. I get the exercise and the meaning of the exercise. But at the end of the day, it's like half the stuff is just, you're just, like, vomiting words.
Exactly. And the professor really does not want to read all that.
No one does.
No. I don't want to read it.
Did you know you're listening to WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees? You are listening, maybe watching Streaming Verse with Nina and Chris, where we're going through our random thoughts.
I got it once. Okay.
The thoughts and ideas are our own and not necessarily representative of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees. I have a huge random thought to share.
Go for it.
Are we ready for it?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to go into the song. Are you ready for it?
Boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay.
I have been talking for a couple weeks about the TV show Rubicon.
Yeah.
Which is on AMC Plus. And I'm going to have to pull the trigger and buy the last 2 episodes. And we'll rent them in order to be able to watch the last 2 episodes because they're still $1.99 each. But you know what kills me? On Amazon, they show you like, oh, if you want to watch it in HD, it's $2.99. No, it is a show from 2012. I think I'm good with the basic standard. Come on. And $1 cheaper. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I was going to watch it last week, but then I was reading up on all of the protests that we are doing, like, and not spending money on certain days with certain. So I was like, oh, it's Friday. It was the Amazon like boycott. So I'm like, so I still haven't watched it yet. So now I have to make sure I do it on the right day of the week.
Yeah. You know what? Cheers to you for thinking about that, because that's great.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about watching my last 2 episodes, but I'm being very cognizant of what days we're not spending money at certain places or anywhere whatsoever.
You know what's really funny that you say that? Because I had to watch a movie for one of my courses, and it was Origin directed by Ava DuVernay, I think is how you say her name. She did like Selma. She's done a lot.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have Hulu. And a lot of people in this class didn't have Hulu, and the professor was just like, oh, it's on streaming services, right? So someone came into class today and was like, I didn't watch the film. And she's like, you can't stand here and tell me that you don't have streaming services, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, actually, I can, because I am. I don't have it, because you could rent it from Amazon, which is what I had to do. I did not do it on February 28th.
Right.
But I literally had no other choice. So the student was like, I don't support Amazon. I'm not renting from them. Like, I went to the library, they didn't have a DVD. So I can't participate in today's discussion. And she was like I could see like smoke coming out of her ears.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God. But I like wanted to go high five them. Like, you're awesome.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, your grade's going to affect this. And they were like, well, you're always talking about how every single person's choices and decisions make an impact. So that's fine. I was like, you are the coolest person
is awesome.
ever. I'm like, you're my best friend now. Awesome. And then they just sat there the entire class silent. I was like, oh my God, you're so cool.
And that's a bit much. I mean,
Oh, it's so much.
when I took the intro to film class, other than one, which I talked to the instructor about, everything was, he made sure it was on a free service. He made sure that we had free access to it. It was either at the library or, I don't know, like Hulu was free at that time. Like, there were more free services.
Yeah.
And God, that was just 5 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
It was like, and other than one, and it was the movie, David Fitchner was one of his movies. Oh, Fight Club.
Oh.
So I had it, but I happened to find it like in a Walmart bin for $5 or something like that. And it's one of my son's favorite movies. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. Because I figured I could rent it for like $3 or I could buy it for $5. So I just figured I'd buy it and give it to him. But he was very, on top of like trying to make sure it was available for free.
Yeah, a lot of professors are now, and especially because the service canopy, I'm not exactly sure how it works. I know some libraries use it, but it's like a university or a college, whatever, their like catalog of like stuff they use for educational purposes. And so most of the movies are on there, but clearly this professor had not had a conversation with anyone about it.
That's so wrong.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, it's on streaming services, and just assumed that we all had it. And no, which it was like $3 to rent, so it's not the end of the world.
Right.
But at the same time, you're spending a lot of money to be there, and I understand we don't have to buy textbooks per se for that class, so we could technically like, okay, this could have been the textbook.
True.
There's so many like ways around it, but at the same time, no. Like,
yeah.
I already have so many streaming services. I don't want to pay to have to rent something because I just don't happen to have one streaming service.
Right. Even if, figure out a way for, of course your teacher didn't plan, so it doesn't count, but figure out a way for the college library to be able to rent them then or something.
Exactly.
Like, because part of the reason why I'm, with everything going on right now, there's this whole like, no, I don't want to keep spending more money and giving it to people who already have enough money.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the economy right now is not great.
No.
If you've,
I was actually at the grocery store at one point, and this was a few weeks ago, and it said you can only buy one carton of eggs at a time. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Some dystopian stuff going on
Exactly.
here. Crazy. But not like unpredicted.
No.
We all knew this was going to happen.
Speaking of streaming, have you heard of the 5 Calls app?
No.
Really?
Tell me more.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I thought for sure you would know about this.
No.
There is an app out there that helps you put in where you live, and you can utilize it to contact your representatives.
Downloading it right now.
So anyone who wants to, and people will say, well, calls don't matter. Well, you know what? No calls matter less. So it does matter. I know we're very lucky in Illinois to have representatives who at least align with our values here of Streamingverse. Again, thoughts and ideas presented on the show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees. But no, that's it's an app, so it streams. So
there you go. Perfect.
like I said, and then we're not shopping. We are participating in, right, but I've talked to you about this before.
This
The
app?
one day. No, all it takes is one day.
App, yes.
And I saw that and I'm like, yes, it's my idea. I didn't have the wherewithal to execute it, but yes.
Yeah. I I want to look into if there's more planned because I'm pretty sure there is.
There's definitely more. There's 2 weeks where you're not supposed to do another thing
Mm-hmm.
and another full, like, no shopping at all day, and
Yeah.
some specific ones targeted to certain businesses. Yes.
Whenever you can, I think it's great to support small businesses.
Yeah, and that's it. If you do have to spend
Yep.
at a small business.
Absolutely. And skipping a day of like coffee, it's not the end of the world. I don't
Right.
drink coffee, so like I can't really speak to that, but I'm pretty sure your $30 cup of coffee from Starbucks you can survive.
And I don't know, I'm not normal to begin with. Plus, I work from home. No, what I mean, though, is remember during the pandemic, I don't know if you remember this, but Starbucks always had lines like
Yeah.
8 miles around because people had to have their coffees. Well, and I used to, when I used to go to the office, and I
Mhm.
never had to go, even before the pandemic, I didn't have to go in the office very often, but
Mhm.
I would go to my local Caribou Coffee, which is no longer local anyway. And I knew the baristas, and I would chit chat with them. I'm
Mhm.
even still friends with one of them on like Facebook. Now I don't ever go because one, the pandemic, you just
Yeah.
stopped spending money. And then two, it's like, I'm not going to spend that much money on a cup of coffee. Now, I'm not saying like if I go on a road trip, I'm not going to
Right.
or occasionally. But Erin actually just did this. She did this whole exercise of learning how to make a cold brew coffee the way she likes it.
Nice.
And now she's like, and now the cost of coffee beans is going up. So
Of
it's
course.
like-
Oh.
It's always something.
Always something, yeah. Well, I'm transitioning here
Please do.
because I feel like we could talk about this for longer than we have airtime for, and we would be forcefully taken out with our ankles because I have a lot to say, but I won't. I will save that for the 5 Calls app. I've been watching, I know that I've mentioned this before, but oh my god, I love Carla. There's this YouTuber. Her channel name is called Whiny Brit because she's a whiny British woman. But her name is Carla, and she does a bunch of Sims Let's Plays, okay? And they're so funny. And I know that I've talked about this before, but she like uploads like a lot, and she works like a regular job.
Mm-hmm.
So she's genuinely just doing this for fun, which I love because because I have this like inner monologue when I'm playing The Sims as well, and I'm thinking the same thing. Like she's just like playing out these storylines, and she's like, they're so diabolical and twisted, and she's just like, sorry, it's entertaining. And the comments she makes, like, she's great, and she's hilarious, and I watch her videos to fall asleep to because I feel like going to bed like laughing is good.
Yes, yeah. I
'cause-
support that.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that a lot lately, so I've been trying to do that more. And her videos she reminds me of Philomena Kunk.
That's what I thought of right when you
Yes.
just started. Even like just the name Whiny Brit. I'm
Whiny
like,
Brit.
That sounds like.
Philomena Kunk. Yeah. She, like, even if you know nothing about The Sims, it's just like, it's literally a life simulator. So she's just like making up stories.
Right.
And putting these like virtual characters through them, and it's so funny. Oh God. But yeah, it's like the same kind of humor. And so sometimes it's not really laugh out loud. It's just like, I cannot believe she said that. But she's hilarious, and she uploads like every other day. And so there's always new stuff. And she works a
Wow.
full-time job.
That's why you got the eyes popping on that one.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a lot.
Yeah, and she works a full-time job. So like she genuinely just enjoys doing it, and it's so fun to watch someone do something that they genuinely enjoy.
Yes.
And it's silly and it's goofy, and she knows that, and it's just like refreshing. I don't know. And she's hilarious. So if you have any interest in The Sims or just comedy in general, and if you like Philomena Kunk, definitely go check out Whiny Brit on YouTube. She's hilarious.
Awesome. I'm going to go opposite.
Okay, do it.
So one of the things that I was watching this weekend, or streaming.
Yeah.
I was cleaning the house. So I wanted to put something on that I knew, again, just for have something in the background. So I put on episode 1, season 1, Emily in Paris.
Oh my God.
The second time through is worse. Again,
Really?
I can't stand it. I totally cannot stand the show. But mind you, I will be watching the next season. Like,
right.
I make no apologies. I will be watching it because I'm fascinated. It's really my almost hate watch. And it's nothing against anyone starring in it. Like, they're doing their job. They're doing what they need to do to make it live. Like, I don't even dislike it because it's, like, bad. It's absurd.
Yeah.
How does she have that many clothes? Why does she have a different coat every 5 seconds?
Yeah.
And why is she working for someone who can't stand her? That's The Sims, like, too, when you mentioned that, because it's like, but I love it, and I'm in Paris, and I want everyone to be happy. And, oh, it's my fault that Gabrielle is, no, Gabrielle's a full-grown man. I don't know if you know, but there's this whole thing where every time there's an issue, she's blaming herself. It's like, he's being a jerk to you, move on. Walk away. Sashay away.
Yes. Sashay away.
Yeah, but like I said, the whole time I'm watching this going, okay, I don't think this is a rewatch show for me, first of all. Need to go for something better.
Yeah.
But I will, of course, still be watching it because it's funny and it's quirky and it's weird.
I love it.
And then I get to go, and why?
Right. One quick thing I will add about what you were saying about, like, how does she have so many jackets? I love when shows when they make the characters rewear either outfits or articles of clothing, because you do not see that a lot at all.
Right. No.
Unless it's like Phineas and Ferb. Like, of course they're going to be wearing their, like, the same outfits because that's their cartoon characters.
Exactly.
But, and I understand that to make sense to dumb American audiences, they have to, like, change their outfit because it's a different day. And we're stupid, so we can't process that. But I love, like, seeing, like, a flannel that someone wore and, like, oh my God, it's still hanging in their closet, and oh my God, they just tied it around their waist and they're still wearing it and it's another day, because that's just more realistic, because nobody wears something different every day unless you're, like, a billionaire.
Exactly. And even, like you said, 3 episodes later, you can wear the same thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
Utilize it in a different way. Like they have the whole compact wardrobes where you have like 8 pieces and then you build other things around it. Do that.
Sure. Exactly. Like, there's no rule in place. It's like you can only wear a white t-shirt once.
Right.
Like, that's crazy. And so unrealistic. Like, I've probably worn this shirt on this show alone. Like, I can probably go back. It's probably like 14, 15 times. Like, don't double check that.
I've worn this sweatshirt on the show too, probably the same number of times. One of my biggest problems is sometimes getting dressed for the show, because if we're gonna be on camera and you know it, and so it's like, oh, I'm gonna wear this. Did I wear that last Thursday?
I do that all the time.
I'm like, okay, then they're going to think I wear the same thing all the time, literally.
And that I, like, don't shower or anything. And I'm so, I do stress about that. But then.
And then sometimes I go, oh, but we weren't on camera last week. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely do that. But whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm sure I've worn the same thing 2 weeks in a row.
Oh.
It's just especially in the summer, it's like just throw on a dress. Oh, it just happens to be. And I didn't wear it all week long, but I happened to wear it 2 Thursdays in a row.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Random was fun.
Random
and we
was
can
fun.
easily fill up a whole show with just random. Like,
yeah, I could keep
crazy.
going, really. We're crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And this didn't really get as random as it could have.
True, it did not. We could have, I didn't really watch a lot, and I was trying to figure out why, too. I don't know what I was doing that I wasn't watching. I think it's because of Shogun. I keep having to rewind. Okay, I've watched a half an hour. Okay, rewind. Go back. Do it again.
That's so fair, yeah. So you've watched it really like a bunch of times.
Yes, the 1.5 episodes I've watched,
Yeah.
which are already long,
Mm-hmm.
I've probably watched it for, 2.5, 3 hours. So that is
Right.
a lot. That explains why.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
But there you
I
go.
didn't really watch. And I watched Paradise too, which I didn't talk about. I'll talk about that next time. But so good. Paradise is really good.
All right.
All right.
So
I'm making smoke signals.
that's a Phoebe Bridgers song. Quick
Oh.
heads up. What?
You keep talking.
Okay, sorry. Quick heads up, the intro and outro music you are listening to is by DJ Double Dip. It is called Oat Milk. It is a song that he let us pick and gave to us for our intro, and I almost said extra. Don't know what that was. But you can check him out, DJ Double Dip on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you stream music.
And he's
He'll
awesome.
be there.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
And I have another positive thought-ish. It's kind of a
Okay.
positive thought, but I love this. Okay. On Facebook and I'm sure on other social media platforms, there's Steve the Otter. And he's so cute.
Aw.
It's so cute. And this was his thought this week, and I thought I would share. The banana is no longer the food item that looks most phone-like. The Pop-Tart is.
Oh my god.
So let that sink in. It's no longer the banana. Because people used to go like this, and
I
it's
still go
banana
like
shaped.
this.
Right, but it's really this. It's a Pop-Tart. And the fact that he said a Pop-Tart just, I'm like, because it's a food item. Like, what?
Yeah.
It was adorable. Yeah. So the banana is no longer the food item that looks most phone-like. The Pop-Tart is. And that's Steve the Otter.
Steve, that kind of broke my heart, not gonna lie. I don't know why.
Things are changing.
I don't like
Things are changing. Just wait until we start talking about how you roll down your window.
it. Okay, yeah, but I wasn't there for that.
That's what I mean. You don't know what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I do. I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Streaming Verse here on WHCM. Keep it tuned to WHCM, at least if you're on harperradio.com or 88.3 FM for Mixtape with Andy. But YouTube Live, we're done.
Yeah,
We'll
goodbye.
be back next week. All right. Bye.
Have a good night.